All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Sarabjit Kaur. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin to hold India-Russia Annual Summit in New Delhi today. First India-Russia 2+2 ministerial dialogue to also take place today. 17 more cases of Omicron variant reported in the country, taking tally to 21. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia reviews RT-PCR testing facilities for passengers coming from at-risk countries at Delhi Airport. President Ramnath Kovind to embark on a 4-day visit to Maharashtra beginning today. The nation pays homage to Bharat Ratna Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his Mahaparinirvan Divas. Higher reaches of Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand receive fresh snowfall. Joint military exercise between India and Maldives to begin today at Caddo Island. In cricket, India tightened grip over Mumbai Test against New Zealand, and Argentina beat Germany 4-2 to lift Men's Junior Hockey World Cup in Bhubaneswar. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the new variant is a cause of concern. In this situation, we appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 01123978046 and 1075. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in Morning News since 16th August and will continue till 15th August 2022. India Post has joined hands as the logistics partner with All India Radio News for the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. And now, coming to our 33rd question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz in English. Who was the founder of the Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science, IACS, the first Swadeshi scientific institution by Indians and for Indians? I repeat the question. Who was the founder of the Indian Association for Cultivation of Science, IACS, the first Swadeshi scientific institution by Indians and for Indians? Listeners can send their responses to the question over WhatsApp 8826546262. I repeat the number 8826546262 or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. That is amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in.
And now the news in detail. Russian President Vladimir Putin will arrive in New Delhi today on an official visit to India for the 21st India-Russia Annual Summit with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The leaders will review the state and prospects of bilateral relations and discuss ways to further strengthen the strategic partnership between the two countries. The summit will be an opportunity to exchange views on regional, multilateral and international issues of mutual interest. Both leaders will also hold one-on-one talks. Russian Foreign Affairs Minister Sergei Lavrov, who arrived in India last night, will hold a meeting with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar this morning ahead of the first India-Russia 2+2 ministerial dialogue today. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will also hold a meeting with his Russian counterpart Sergei Shoigu. Earlier, briefing media, External Affairs Ministry spokesman Arindam Bagchi said Mr. Rajnath Singh and Dr. Jaishankar will represent the Indian side in the 2+2 dialogue, and the Russian side will be represented by their Foreign Affairs Minister and Defence Minister.
They will begin with Raksha Mantri and his Russian counterpart, His Excellency Sergei Shoigu, co-chairing what is known as the Intergovernmental Commission, while External Affairs Minister will have a bilateral meeting with his counterpart, Russian Foreign Minister, His Excellency Mr. Sergei Lavrov. In the afternoon, 21st India-Russia Annual Summit will be held, and we look forward to welcoming President Putin to New Delhi for this summit.
The annual summit meeting between India and Russia is the highest institutionalized dialogue mechanism in the strategic partnership between India and Russia. So far, 20 annual summit meetings have taken place alternatively in India and Russia. Our correspondent takes a look at the bilateral relations between the two countries.
Development of India-Russia relations has been a key pillar of India's foreign policy. Since the signing of Declaration on the India-Russia Strategic Partnership in October 2000, India-Russia ties have acquired a qualitatively new character with enhanced levels of cooperation in almost all areas of the bilateral relationship. During the visit of the Russian President to India in December 2010, the strategic partnership was elevated to the level of a special and privileged strategic partnership. Intensifying trade and economic relations has been identified as a priority area, as is clear by the revised targets of increasing bilateral investment to $50 billion and bilateral trade to $30 billion by 2025. India-Russia cooperation in the field of peaceful uses of outer space dates back to about 4 decades. About 20 Russian institutions regularly teach Hindi to about 1,500 Russian students. There is strong interest among Russian people in Indian dance, music, yoga and Ayurveda. Suparna Sekia, AIR News, Delhi.
India reported 17 more cases of Omicron variant of COVID-19, taking the total number of cases in the country to 21. 9 new cases of Omicron variant were reported from Rajasthan, 7 cases from Maharashtra and 1 case from Delhi yesterday. Rajasthan Health Department said that 9 members from a family in Jaipur have tested positive for Omicron. Our Jaipur correspondent has filed this report.
4 persons of a family were tested positive for COVID after they came from South Africa a few days ago, after which this family was admitted to RUHS hospital as per the guidelines. 5 more members of this family were also found infected. Secretary of Health Department, Vaibhav Galaria, told that samples of 74 people who came in contact with this family were taken, out of which 9 people have been found positive with the new variant of COVID, while the remaining 25 people tested negative. Samples are being taken on a large scale of all the people who came in contact with this family. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Meanwhile, the Rajasthan government has decided to discontinue offline classes in all educational and coaching institutions in the state. This decision has been taken after a fresh surge in COVID cases in the state. In Maharashtra, 8 persons have been found to be infected with the Omicron variant so far. The state health department said that 7 cases have been reported from the Pune metropolitan region, 6 from Pimpri Chinchwad and 1 from Pune. Previously, a 34-year-old man from Kalyan Dombivli with a travel history from South Africa had tested positive for the virus. Delhi also detected its first Omicron COVID case yesterday. The centre has asked states and union territories to be extra vigilant in enforcing public health measures to contain the spread of Omicron variant of COVID-19.
Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia reviewed RT-PCR testing facilities for passengers coming from at-risk countries at the IGI airport in New Delhi. In a tweet, Mr. Mandavia said 35 rapid RT-PCR testing machines are functional within Terminal 3 at the airport. He said with this, passenger screening and testing time can be reduced to even 30 minutes. Talking exclusively to AIR News, Member Health in Niti Aayog, Dr. V.K. Paul said, getting vaccinated and taking precautions such as avoiding crowded places, keeping a distance from others and wearing a mask are crucial to protect oneself from the new variant.
जो ओमिक्रॉन नया वेरिएंट विश्व में उभरा है, उसके कुछ केसेस भारत में भी पाए गए हैं। इस वेरिएंट के आने से क्या असर होगा, किस तरह से आगे ये बढ़ेगा या नहीं बढ़ेगा, ये सारा एक वैज्ञानिक चर्चा है और इसके ऊपर सारे विश्व के साइंटिस्ट और अपने साइंटिस्ट हमारे देश के जुड़ के अच्छी तरह से अध्ययन कर रहे हैं। और आपको ये भी मालूम है कि बहुत अच्छी तरह से इसको पकड़ में लाया जाए, इसके लिए एयरपोर्ट्स पे और वैसे भी बहुत सारी व्यवस्थाएं की गई हैं। हमें इससे घबराना नहीं है। हमें
हमें डरना नहीं, हमारा जवाब है हमारी तैयारी और हमारा दृढ़ निश्चय कि हम इसका मुकाबला करेंगे। ओमिक्रॉन का मुकाबला करने के लिए भी वही टूल्स हमने इस्तेमाल करने हैं, वही काम करने हैं जो हम आज तक करते आए हैं और उनको ज्यादा गति से, ज्यादा तेजी से, ज्यादा दृढ़ता से हमें पालन करना है। 3 चीजें पहले भी जरूरी थी, वैक्सीनेशन, मास्क और अपने आप को बचाना और अपने आप को अलग रखना अगर हमें इन्फेक्शन होती है और जल्दी से अपना इलाज कराना, ये आज भी जरूरी है। इनको अपनाइए। इन्हीं टूल्स के साथ साथ हम मिलके ओमिक्रॉन को भी हटा दें।
The News Services Division brings glimpses of the year that was in our special year-ender series. Today we are taking a look at the timeline of India's fight against COVID. When the unprecedented COVID pandemic engulfed the world, it threw a challenge to not only medical science but also the humanity as a whole. India's response to COVID-19 has been preemptive, proactive and graded under the able leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. India had put in place a comprehensive response system at its borders much before World Health Organization declared it as a public health emergency of international concern. Our correspondent reports that central government has been at the forefront of the fight against the COVID pandemic.
India put up a brave fight against the COVID pandemic and emerged as self-reliant and resilient through the crisis. India has responded strongly from the beginning of the pandemic. The first case of coronavirus infection was reported from Kerala on 30th January last year, and India reported first fatality due to COVID-19 on 12th March. As a precautionary measures, India started screening of incoming international passengers and started quarantine procedure. All incoming international flights were suspended from 22nd March. India announced a nationwide lockdown on 24th March 2020. In January 2020, India had a single laboratory testing for COVID-19, and as on today, more than 3,000 laboratories were set up across the country. Indian scientists, with the encouragement and support of the center, developed 2 made-in-India vaccines, Covaxin and Covishield, in a short span of time. The vaccination drive began in a phased manner, starting with health workers and frontline workers on 16 January this year. Until now, more than 125 crore doses have been administered. Over 50% of the eligible population of the country are now fully vaccinated. The entire world is applauding Team India for its proactive and courageous act for the safety of its nationals. With Dipendra, Anupam Mishra, AIR News.
In our bilingual live phone-in program, Corona Jagrukta series, Dr. Sanjay Pandey of GB Pant Hospital in New Delhi will be with us tonight to answer the queries related to coronavirus. This program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards.
You're listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin to hold India-Russia annual summit in New Delhi today. First India-Russia 2+2 ministerial dialogue to also take place today. 17 more cases of Omicron variant reported in the country, taking the tally to 21. Health Minister Mansukh Mandviya reviews RT-PCR testing facilities for passengers coming from at-risk countries at Delhi Airport. President Ramnath Kovind to embark on a 4-day visit to Maharashtra beginning today. Nation pays homage to Bharat Ratna Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his Mahaparinirvan Divas. Higher reaches of Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand receive fresh snowfall. Joint military exercise between India and Maldives to begin today at Kadu Island. In cricket, India tightens grip over Mumbai Test against New Zealand, and Argentina beat Germany 4-2 to lift Men's Junior Hockey World Cup in Bhubaneswar. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alert.
Welcome back. President Ramnath Kovind will be on a 4-day visit to Maharashtra beginning today. President Kovind will visit Raigarh Fort today and pay tribute to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Tomorrow, the President will visit Air Force Station at Lohegaon in Pune, where he will witness flying display and interact with air warriors. The nation pays homage to Bharat Ratna Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his 65th Mahaparinirvan Divas or death anniversary today. A number of functions are being organized all over the country to highlight the contributions of Dr. Ambedkar in nation building. Eminent dignitaries and parliamentarians will offer tributes to the architect of the Constitution at his statue in Parliament House complex in New Delhi. In his Mann Ki Baat program last month, Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tribute to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, saying he played a pivotal role in drafting the Indian Constitution.
अब अम्बेडकर की पुण्यतिथि, बाबा साहब ने अपना पूरा जीवन देश और समाज के लिए अपने कर्तव्यों के निर्वहन के लिए समर्पित किया था। हम देशवासी ये कभी न भूलें कि हमारे संविधान की मूल भावना, हमारा संविधान हम सभी देशवासियों से अपने अपने कर्तव्यों के निर्वहन की अपेक्षा करता है। तो आइए हम भी संकल्प लें कि अमृत महोत्सव में हम कर्तव्यों को पूरी निष्ठा से निभाने का प्रयास करेंगे। यही बाबा साहब के लिए हमारी सच्ची श्रद्धांजलि होगी।
Mumbai Mayor Kishori Pednekar has said that the program that will be held at Chaitya-Bhumi, the memorial for Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in Dadar, will be telecast live on Doordarshan's Sahyadri channel and also on various social media platforms of the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation. Meanwhile, facing threats from the new COVID-19 variant Omicron, the Maharashtra government has issued specific guidelines to mark the Mahaparinirvan Divas today, when lakhs of followers of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar from across the country gather at Chaitya-Bhumi in Mumbai to pay tributes to the great leader. More details from our Mumbai correspondent.
The state government has made it clear that persons who have taken both the doses of the vaccine would be allowed to enter the premises only after a thermal screening. COVID-appropriate behavior such as wearing masks, using hand sanitizers and maintaining social distance will be mandatory for every visitor. Any sort of public gathering near the premises won't be allowed. The government has also prohibited setting up of any food or book stalls in and around the area. The government has also asked all the district collectors of the state to make necessary arrangements in their respective districts to avoid large gatherings. The railway police have also been asked to regulate the crowd in Dadar station in central Mumbai, where people alight to visit Chaitya-Bhumi. Meanwhile, in Maharashtra, so far 8 persons have been found to be infected with the Omicron variant of COVID-19. Devopriya Bhattacharjee, AIR News, Mumbai.
The Lok Sabha is scheduled to take up the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Amendment Bill 2021 today for discussion. The bill will replace an ordinance which was issued on 30th of September this year. The lower house is also scheduled to take up the National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research Amendment Bill 2021 and the High Court and Supreme Court Judges' Salaries and Conditions of Service Amendment Bill 2021 for discussion. The Rajya Sabha is scheduled to discuss the Assisted Reproductive Technology Regulation Bill 2021 and the Surrogacy Regulation Bill 2020 today. The upper house will take up a short duration discussion on the situation arising out of price rise in the country, including the rise in the prices of petroleum products. The higher reaches of Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand received fresh snowfall, leading to the closure of many border roads. Higher reaches of Jammu and Kashmir have received fresh snowfall while rains lashed the plains. In Ladakh, Kargil and adjoining areas are experiencing heavy snowfall. Due to snowfall and bad weather, traffic movement on Kargil, Srinagar and Kargil, Zanskar has been suspended. Upper parts of Himachal continue to receive snow. In Uttarakhand, upper Himalayan village of Ganji in Pithoragarh district received heavy snowfall. The 11th edition of joint military exercise E-Coverin between India and Maldives will begin today at Cadu Island in Maldives. It will conclude on 19th of this month. The exercise will enhance synergy and interoperability between the armed forces of both the nations in terms of understanding transnational terrorism both on land and at sea, conducting counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency operations, and sharing best military practices and experiences. And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
Today, on the 6th of December, we are remembering Bharat Ratna, Baba Saheb Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar on Mahaparinirvan Divas. The chief architect of the Indian Constitution, Baba Saheb, worked tirelessly throughout his life for creating an equitable and a strong India.
Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar, a fighter in the cause of annihilation of caste, was born in a so-called lower caste on 14th of April 1891 at Mau Cantonment. His life was one of struggle, as his radical proposals to deal with the caste system met with hostility from the so-called upper castes. However, not only did he fight against all institutional and social odds to pursue his education, but spectacularly earned doctorates from both Columbia University and the London School of Economics, gaining reputation as a scholar for his research in law, economics and political science. Upon India's independence on August 15, 1947, Baba Saheb served as the nation's first law minister, and on August 29, he was appointed chairman of the Constitution Drafting Committee. He helped bring in many proposals and laws for social reformation and transformation of India. His efforts for a radical restructuring of property relations have ensured that India as a nation moves together to create new possibilities for all its citizens. Speaking in Constituent Assembly on December 17, 1946, he shared his vision of united India.
Our difficulty is not about the ultimate future. Our difficulty is how to make the heterogeneous mess that we have today take a decision in common and march in a cooperative way on that road which is bound to lead us to unity.
Dr. Ambedkar perhaps was India's most radical thinker, and he transformed the social and political landscape in the struggle against British colonialism by making the downtrodden politically aware of their own situation. He had famously said to the so-called lower castes, "Educate, agitate and organize." He laid a great emphasis on education, especially to weaker sections, to whom it was traditionally denied. He saw education as a potent tool which could equally empower every citizen to build an egalitarian society, as also to help break the age-old restrictive shackles of discriminatory social practices. Baba Saheb was posthumously conferred Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian award, in 1990 for his immense contribution in formation of the idea of modern India. We are forever indebted to Baba Saheb, whose values we cherish by following our constitution.
We also remember freedom fighter Rukmani Lakshmipati, who was born on December 6, 1892 in Madras. She is well known for her participation in Salt Satyagraha of 1930 in Vedaranyam of Madras Presidency, for which she was jailed for a year, becoming the first female prisoner in the Salt Satyagraha movement.
Lakshmipati was heavily influenced by leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, C. Rajagopalachari and Sarojini Naidu.
In 1934, Lakshmipati was elected to the Madras Legislative Council. 3 years later, she became the first woman to become a member of the Legislative Assembly. In 1946, Lakshmipati served as Minister of Health in the Madras Presidency Cabinet, becoming the first woman minister in the state. She died on the 6th of August, 1951. In 1997, the Government of India issued a postage stamp in her honor. We salute this great Satyagrahi.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In today's episode of Dharuhar at 4:45 p.m. in Parikrama, AIR News will bring you the voice of legendary tribal leader Jaipal Singh Munda. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, Jago Grahak Jago.
In cricket, India have tightened their grip on the second and final test match in Mumbai against the New Zealand. With 2 days to go, India are now 5 wickets away from a win after setting a mammoth victory target of 540 runs for the visitors. Chasing the target, New Zealand will resume their second innings at the overnight score of 140 for the loss of 5 wickets on day 4 today. Argentina lifted the coveted trophy of the Junior Men's Hockey World Cup after defeating Germany 4-2 in the summit clash in Bhubaneswar last night. Earlier in the day, India suffered a 1-3 defeat against France in the bronze medal match.
And now let's take a look at the weather update for today. National capital Delhi will have shallow fog. Mumbai and Chennai will have partly cloudy sky. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky with few spells of rain or thunder showers. Srinagar will have a partly cloudy sky. Jammu and Muzaffarabad will have a mainly clear sky. Leh and Gilgit is likely to have rain or snow. In the northeast, Guwahati, Imphal, Shillong, Aizawl, Kohima, Itanagar and Gangtok will witness generally cloudy sky with light rain.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. All dailies have widely noticed the first case of the new variant of COVID-19 in the national capital. The other major story is Russian President Vladimir Putin's official visit to India. Putin in Delhi today to hold talks with PM, writes the Asian Age, while the Statesman says, notwithstanding USA, Modi-Putin summit expected to boost bond. Delhi's first Omicron case, a 37-year-old man with mild symptoms, writes the Hindustan Times. On the vaccination front, all dailies have noticed that half of India's adult population is now fully vaccinated. The Times of India writes over 50% of adult population in India now fully vaccinated. And finally, those waiting to head to the valley for winter sports have some good news. Gulmarg received fresh snowfall on Sunday and appears draped in a white blanket.
Before we end the bulletin, a reminder of today's question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. Who was the founder of the Indian Association for Cultivation of Science, IACS, the first Swadeshi scientific institution by Indians and for Indians? I repeat the question. Who was the founder of the Indian Association for the Cultivation of Science, IACS, the first Swadeshi scientific institution by the Indians and for Indians? WhatsApp your response on 8826 546262 or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin to hold India-Russia annual summit in New Delhi today. First India-Russia 2+2 ministerial dialogue to also take place today. 17 more cases of Omicron variant reported in the country, taking tally to 21. Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia reviews RT-PCR testing facilities for passengers coming from at-risk countries at Delhi airport. President Kovind to embark on a 4-day visit to Maharashtra beginning today. Nation pays homage to Bharat Ratna Dr. Ambedkar on his Mahaparinirvan Divas. Higher reaches of J&K, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand receive fresh snowfall. Joint military exercise between India and Maldives to begin today at Kadu Island. In cricket, India tightened grip over Mumbai Test against New Zealand, and Argentina beat Germany 4-2 to lift Men's Junior Hockey World Cup in Bhubaneswar. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.